It is no secret that cloud computing models provide us with multiple possibilities to bring efficiency in running IT processes. From elimination of long cycle times to procure and install physical infrastructure to reducing large capital cost investments, cloud enables enterprises to go to the market faster than before. Cloud has changed the way we think. Hello, my name is Mangesh Pise. I have been practicing enterprise architecture for more than a decade. As an enterprise architect, it is critical not only to learn about architectural concepts, but also successfully applying them in designing large enterprise applications. That is why, in this course, I'm going to be piggybacking on my previous course where we built an application using microservices architecture. We will now take it to the next level, which is serverless and event based architecture. In this course, we will be building a cloud native application that takes away the need of any infrastructure management and adds event based capabilities to our microservices. For this, we will be leveraging Google Cloud Platform. But the concepts are cloud agnostic, so they can be applied to any other cloud providers. So let's take a look at the microservices architecture approach that we took in our previous example. We had Jack, Jill, and Jim with three different personas, one as a software guy, a database gal, and an infrastructure guy. Jim was responsible for managing the hardware, capacity, performance, etc. While Jack and Jill learned how to take their application code, package it into containers, and push it to a container repository. They also had to then create a deployment code, which was more of as an infrastructure as a code that instructed how to take their containers from the repository and deploy them as smaller units of pods, which ran on Jim's hardware. However, in a cloud native approach, Jim has no infrastructure to manage. However, he obviously has to now manage the cloud security, identity, and even the cost of his operations. Moving on, in a cloud native and serverless concept, Jack and Jill still have to manage their code and create them as deployable containers, but they do not have to now write piece of code that takes their code and deploys it into the infrastructure. That's serverless. The application that we are going to look at here is pretty much based on the application which we had in our previous course, which is an online store. The users of the online store look up products. They then add one or more products to the shopping carts. And that was the end of our application in our previous example. However, in this case, we now introduce the event-based concept where a user action triggers a systemic action behind the scene. So when the users place an order, it triggers a process to generate a PDF invoice. Once the PDF invoice is generated, the order learns about that process and then maintains a reference to that generated invoice. As Mohanlal said, life is a collage of events. And that's what we are going to look at here is how do we now make our microservices architecture event based as we see different events occurring in our application, but then at the same time, move our application from an infrastructure mindset to a completely serverless mindset.